tariffs, okay? Jinko Solar, that's a Chinese company. It'll be the first Chinese company to open a factory in America after President Trump announced those tariffs. Dan Holler is with us, Heritage Action for America Vice President. Dan, is this, I don't know about this new factory here from a Chinese company. Is this the direct result of the tariffs?
Well, the timing certainly does seem to overlap, doesn't it? And I think one of the things that people have been struggling with as the president sort of took a more aggressive posture on trade, which is something that he campaigned about, and we shouldn't be surprised that he's going in this direction. We were always sort of curious, I think everybody was, and certainly the markets were, of how this would turn out, what were the repercussions, would the Chinese and others come to the table? At least right now, it seems as though people want to come to the table because all these countries recognize the value of having open markets and access. And if through these tactics the Trump administration helps advance that, then on net, that's a good outcome.
Now, most people were opposed when President Trump imposed those tariffs and said, look, you're going to start a trade war. We said, look, you're opening with a very strong bargaining position. You're opening as a very strong position that you're taking. I'm inclined to say that maybe that's working because China is now coming to the table. Would you agree with that?
It certainly seems to be. I do think that there is the reaction to overreact to every single thing that happens, especially with this president. So there was probably too much of a reaction when he laid out his initial offer. We should be careful about not making too much of this right now. But it does seem that things are heading in the right direction, and some of these other countries are recognizing that they had too restrictive limits placed on U.S. imports into their countries. And if they're coming around to that and they're investing in the United States, and that's the result, we're heading in a good direction.
Okay, I want to get back to that $1.3 trillion spending bill. We've got a new Fox poll, and it shows that the GOP is coming back. In October 2017, 35% said they'd vote Republican. Now that number's up to 41%. But then you've got this spending bill, $1.3 trillion, which doesn't contain a lot of the things that the president wanted. Is the spending bill a problem for the Republicans in November?
It certainly could be a problem. When you look at the spending bill, you see a whole bunch of broken promises from the Republicans and the administration. One of the good silver linings within that is obviously the spending on the military, but it didn't include a bailout of Obamacare. So the fact that we didn't bail out and expand Obamacare is a good thing. And maybe if they use that as momentum to return to repealing and replacing Obamacare so they can have more choice and freedom and access to health care for people who have been hurt under the law, that might actually boost their chances when we get heading towards November.
Do you think Paul Ryan should resign as Speaker of the House before November?
You know, as long as there is a Speaker of the House, there are going to be rumors about the Speaker of the House resigning or being in trouble or something along those lines. I think that is sort of inside Washington chatter, and those rumors are going to exist. But the important thing is to get back to that policy point and what can the Republicans in Congress do right now to deliver on the promises that they made voters a year and a half ago. And if they don't deliver on those promises, who the Speaker is really doesn't matter.
Yeah, indeed. Get on with it. All right. Thanks very much for joining us, Dan. Always appreciated. Thank you, sir. All right.